Hey there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All, and in this video today we are going to try to learn how and when you can use GML GameMaker language visual drag and draw block, which is called set position along path. So in this video we are trying to set position of our object instance of our character. In this example it's zombie. We want to set position of it on path, but position in terms of very specific position. We have learned before that this path, this line, red line on our screen, which we have created for this zombie to follow, goes from 0, which is the start, and that 0 grows all the way until the end when it becomes 1. So it goes from 0 to 1, and sometimes in your game you want to know or put some things on specific position on that path. So we have used these examples of tower defense games and compared it to official GameMaker Towers versus Monsters template, where you also have some kind of object instances. Those are zombies and Frankenstein in that case, and they go and follow the path, and at some point in time when tower shoots some bullets at those enemies, they behave differently. They could slow down, die, and so on. So that could be one example. Other can be, for example, you can, instead of using these enemies, you can use, for example, these paths, these lines, to maybe spawn some power-ups or items in your game in a specific way, on specific line, on a specific position, and you want it very precise. So that is, for example, one reason where you can use this. Okay, so those were some examples where you can use it. In my case, I have made one kind of a problem so far where my game, when I start my game, it works almost as I want. The problem is when I stop the guy here, the zombie, with my left click, which we have coded earlier, that works, but when I want him to start moving again, but I want him to start moving on the line, just keep on continue the movement on the line where you have stopped, continue from that position. He doesn't do that. He goes either on the beginning of the line or he creates new line, and we have defined that with the right click. So in this case he jumps to the start of the line, because here in this right press, that means when I right click on my zombie green square, he does this code. He starts following the path, but again he starts from the start, because I said absolute true. So when I uncheck it here, I hope that he will then, when I stop him here and click again, I hope he will continue, but no, he will create new line, new path from this point where I have stopped him, and he will go up, right, and so on. So he will make like copy of my path, and I don't want him to do that again. I want him just to follow this line, stop on the line, follow the line, stop, follow, stop, follow. And the problem is here is not with the code. The code works what it's intended to do. The code works great. The problem is that I suppose the code will solve this problem for me, this feature, this idea, but actually it does what the code is told to do. So look at now at this guy here. He will create new path. He will start his movement will start going up, and so on. So I can wait for him. If I stop him now again and right click, he will create new path, and so on. So this is obviously not a good not a good solution. So I will first click absolute to true, so he will jump to the start. And okay, we have described the problem now. This is the problem, and what I want to do, what is the solution to the problem. The solution is that is the goal, sorry, for the problem. The solution, the problem goal is that I want this guy to continue where he stopped, so we have to solve that somehow. We have defined the problem. The problem is that this guy doesn't continue following the path when I stop him and then start him again. That's like you are driving a car and you stop the engine, you get out of the car for a minute or two, I don't know, to buy something or whatever, and then you want to start the engine again and just continue driving on the road. So this guy doesn't follow the road, he creates a new road, or he pops up at the start, which is also not good. So I want him just to continue driving on the road, and that is what we are going to solve today. And to do that, the first idea is to just solve it with your logic, with your mind, with your words, and then translate those words in code. In my case, I will try to solve it with adding one more variable, which I will use to store some data. And for some of you, this can be a little bit more advanced. I wouldn't say advanced, maybe like more intermediate level. So if you have a problem, just write down in the comments or try to watch this part of the video a couple of times until you get it. But I will again try to define it with words first, so you will understand it. And I recommend that always in my videos, just try to solve the problem with the logic first, with your mindset on the paper, with the words loud, then translate it in the code. Okay, so if you watch our game so far, we have our zombie position in his on his top, over his head. When you see this POS number, that number rises from 0 to 1. 1 is end, 0 is beginning. And we have coded that with draw text, and when I stop him, I can now actually see at which position this guy stopped. This zombie stopped at 0.26 position on his path. So maybe I can use that. I know now where he stopped. I know his position. That is very, very important. And that is why those GameMaker programmers who made the game engine gave us so many of those different options with those different blocks. So you can use them and combine them and actually come up with solution for almost any problem you have. So and we have, for that we have used get position along path. So if I go to my zombie character object and draw, I can see that I have used this get position. I need position for this guy, path position zombie, and I draw that position over his head, and that position is some kind of number between 0, which is the start of the path here, and 1, which is the end. 0.26 is actually like 26% of my path, 26% of my road. My zombie, my character, he traveled 26% of his road. You can try to see things that way. 0 is 0%, 1 is 100%, so 0.5 is this guy went through half of his path, half of his road. Anyway, let's go back to our example and try to solve it. When I stop this guy, and if I stop him, for example, at 0.5 or 48, again he stopped at some position, and I now have that position on my screen. All I have to do is now make another container, which is variable, and put this number in it. So this new variable which I will call probably position where zombie stopped, position stop. This variable will store the number at which my zombie stopped, and then later I think I can say to GameMaker, okay, just continue from that position. Don't go from 0, go from 0.48 in this case, and then continue driving the vehicle from that position on the road. Try moving from that. So that is the whole idea. We need to store this piece of information, this number 0 point whatever, and put it in new variable, and then tell GameMaker, okay, now you use this guy value for his position and try moving from that instead of going back to 0. This is something which you will do lots of the times in GameMaker or different game engines. You will combine pieces of information from one variable, copy paste it into another, and use it for some function, some action. Also, you can combine pieces of information from variables from one object to another, and so on. So I don't want to confuse you too much. In this case, maybe I could do this without this, but I think this can actually confuse you more, and sooner or later you will have to do this, what I'm showing you today. Again, maybe it will take a little bit more time, but you will learn a couple of new skills, techniques, and you can later reuse them for your games. Okay, so let's try to do that, what we have defined with words so far. So the whole idea here is that I want to create a new variable, a new container, and I want to put the current position at which my zombie stopped. So put the number at which my zombie stopped into a new variable, and then tell GameMaker go from that position. So I think we need to do 3 things: create new variable, then put position where zombie stopped into that variable. That is second step, and the third step is go from that position, start moving again. Okay, so finally, first of all, another thing which I want to do here is that I want to rename this variable in my obj zombie, which I called path position zombie. That is the variable which is above my head so far, and that is this POS 0 point which changes. I want to change the name of it just because I will create a new variable now. I want to make those 2 variables clear, not to confuse them one with another. So instead of path position zombie, I will call this path position current, because that is the current position of my zombie on the screen. That is actually changeable on the screen, and maybe you can call it path position, I don't know, movement, or whatever you come up with. In my case, path position current, I think it's good. I will select it now with my left mouse click, press Ctrl C on my keyboard, or just right click copy to copy this text, because I need to change this. I have used path position zombie on a couple of code blocks earlier, so I have to change those, otherwise I will get the error. Now if I start like this, I will get the error, the path position zombie variable, it's not defined. Why? Because I have just changed its name in one block, but I have forgot to do it for other blocks, so I have to change in every block. So that's also another great example why you should be careful and smart when you define variables or code, whatever in code, names for functions, variables, objects, sprites, and so on, because later when you change them in some part of the code, you will have to change it in all of the code, otherwise you will get the error. It's like changing your ID number or your real world name number, and then you have to change the passport, the documentation for your real estate, for your bank account, whatever. It's like that. If you change one piece of information which is valuable at one place, you have to do it at other. Okay, so instead path position zombie, I will now copy paste path position current. Left press nothing, right press path nothing. Okay, here I have it in my draw. Instead of path position zombie, I have it in get position along path. Okay, and I have it here in draw value. Instead of path position zombie, I have path position current. And I will change this caption. Instead of path posts position, I will type position current. Okay, so I think this will work now. I hope it will work now. Okay, so yeah, so we see now path position current is above my head, and it looks nice. It works. It shows me where currently real time during the game my zombie is. So let me create new variable. I will copy paste this one, or maybe I can even just press on this plus, but let me copy paste this one just to make it more obvious and clear. And as I just said, I want to create new variable, and that variable will store the position where my zombie stopped. So I will call this variable path position stop. When you define variable, if you don't use it later or do something with it, it doesn't matter. You have just created it, and GameMaker doesn't care. So I can start my game doesn't change at all, and no changes, no big deal. So this path position stop is currently at 0, and I don't use it. I don't do anything with that variable. I will do that in next step, and the next step is to do that where do I want to do it in step event? No, I want to do that when I press left click with my mouse on this guy here, on this zombie, then he is stopped, and then I want to use my variable. So I don't care if he's moving as much and as long as I don't click on him. When I click on him, he stops, and then I use that variable and store his current position in stop variable. It can be here, it can be here, it depends when the player clicks on him. The player, maybe he doesn't click at all, so you're not going to use it, but you don't know that. You have to be prepared for that too. Okay, so we have defined position, path position stop variable, and we are going to use it in left pressed. When this guy is clicked with left mouse button, I want to do what? I will use again this block, this piece of code design variable, because this is how you do it with blocks. It doesn't maybe make much sense. I was talking about earlier, maybe when I was talking about variables, because now when I use assign variable, I will click and drag it from here. You think again, okay, maybe you define it again, but actually we are just changing the value of it. Now we have defined it here. It's defined. GameMaker knows that variable exists now, value is 0, but now I'm using the same block to change the value. So I will now change the value, and again, just if you're still confused, just use your logic, your mind, your words to define the problem, find the solution, and then translate it into this code and these numbers and words. What we are going to do here, I want to, when I left press on this guy here, on this green zombie, I have left clicked on him, and this is the event left press. To simulate that, I want to do what? I want to use the value for current position, which is here, path position current. We have defined that earlier, path position current, okay, and put that here into which variable? Into new variable, which we have also defined here, which we have called path position stop. So at the moment of the click, this guy stopped, left press, this guy stopped, so put current position in the stop position variable. Just put that value, that number, into this new variable which we have created. So I want to put path position current. I will copy paste it again because I'm lazy to type, and maybe I will make error if I type it. I want the value of position current, and I will copy paste it in value. I want that value, and that is the value above our head, above our zombie, which changes, and we don't know how big that is until we click on it. And I want to put it there. I want to put it into this guy, path position stop. So assign variable named path position stop to the value of path position current when this guy is left pressed. So again, we have just translated the words, the solution to the problem, from logic in words to logic in GameMaker drag and drop blocks. And we again are just putting this value, path position current, into this variable path position stop. Okay, that is just when this guy is clicked. So we have to do a couple of more things. We have to do finally this new block which we are learning. Yeah, this will be also half an hour, but yeah. This happened again only when the left click mouse is on this guy, and nothing actually changed too much in terms of it looks like it's also broken, so we have to add more things, more code, but we can actually show this guy on the screen, this new guy which we have created, path position stop, new variable. We can put it on the screen so we can see if that works in terms of, are we copy pasting the value from path position current into path position stop. How to do it? We will just click on draw value, left click, copy, right click, paste, and I want to show my path position stop. I want that value to show on the screen, so I will paste it here in value. I want that to be visible at POS stop. Okay, and I want to do that a little bit below the first number. So maybe the first number is, no, this will be above -20. I think this will work to show us two values now, the path position current and path position stop on the screen. So above my zombie head you will see now two values, two types of text. The first one will be position current, this guy here, and it will show us the number at which position, the position and the number at which this guy moves and he is on. Currently it will change. And this guy stop, it will show us 0 from the start, but when we left click it should copy the position current into it. So this second text block, this second text number will change only when we left click on the zombie. So you can see, if I don't click, it will stay 0 forever. So path position current, we can see it goes from 0 to 1. Great, that works. Let's try to stop him now with left click and see now how this second value, position stop, changes. Yeah, so we have copy paste position current into position stop. So that works. We have used draw to see that on the screen to check if it works, but now we have actually we need actually to use that value to tell finally GameMaker, okay, now when you have this value, start moving from that value. So how to do it? We want to do that when? We want to do that when this guy is first stopped with the left click, and then when I press right click on it. That's how my game is defined. In your game it could be something else. So for example, in your game this enemy can be moving along the watchtowers, and when tower shoots at him, he stops. That stuns him for a couple of seconds, like some kind of freeze bullet, and after a few seconds he goes again. So in your game that condition will be timer, like some kind of alarm. After I don't know, 5 seconds is too long. After 2 seconds or second and a half, start moving again. If he is shot by another freeze bullet, stop. After second and a half, go moving again, and so on. So that could be your condition. In my case it's the right click, so I need to code init. In right click so far I have only start following path. So again, if I start my game, my zombie, when I right click on him, he will jump to the absolute beginning of my path. I don't want to do that. I will stop him. He knows now the stop position. Okay, but when I right click on him, he jumps to the start. And that is what this code does. We shouldn't be angry on this code. We should just find the solution how to change it. Okay, so again, I want now to tell my zombie character, okay, now when I right click on you, start moving from the position which I have defined here, and which is the path position stop. How to do that? We will use this new finally block on the last one, lucky for you and me, in this paths block group, and that block is called set position along path. Set position along path is the third from the left, and it says it will set the position of the instance along the path it is following. So it will not start from the start, but actually it will put you on some specific position. Let's see what that position is. Do I want 0? No. Do I want 0.25? Maybe. When this guy here, my player, presses on it, but it's not interactive, it's not changeable. In my case I will use path position stop. Why? Because I will copy paste path position stop, because I want my zombie to start from that position. Again, this is just my game. In your game, if you want, for example, to spawn some kind of I don't know, power-ups, or maybe like loot box, when it spawns the loot from the loot box around it, you can copy paste and this couple of times and say, okay, I want to spawn the first loot on 0.25 of my line. I want to spawn my loot on 0.5, that is half of my line, and 0.75. Maybe 0, maybe maybe I can add another at 1, and no, 1 is, I don't know why I cannot type 1 for some reason, but okay, we will check that out later. So anyway, this is just example for a load box maybe. So but you will need another code here, of course. but just the idea here. So you can use this as fixed position. The first one is 0, it will spawn my loot here with that code. The second one is 0.25, it will spawn my loot somewhere around here, maybe that is the 25% of my line. The third one is 0.5 here at the half, 0.75, and so you can use that to spawn things at very specific position. And I don't know again why this is 0.99 works, but 1 no. Maybe like this. No. 0. I don't know, maybe it's a bug, or maybe it's a feature. Anyway, I just wanted to show you that you can use this with fixed numbers. In my case, again, I'm going to copy paste the path position stop. Why? Because that is where my player, my zombie, stopped. I stopped him at that position, and we know that that position is actually copy pasted from current to stop in left click. Now I want to use it when I right click, go from there. So what this code will do, it will first start actually with start following the path. I think maybe I can disable it, not sure, we will try that. We had this code earlier, we have tried with it, it wasn't working. So we want our enemy to go with the speed of 2 with absolute beginning when I right click on him, but then, and that is the split of the second, your eye won't be visible, won't see it, it won't be visible to your eye because it's like a 1 frame and you have 60 frames per second. At first frame, when I right click, so for example, let me tell you first in the words what will happen. When my guy starts moving like this, zombie, and I left click him like this, I have copy pasted my current value to my position stop value, and then when I right click at him, he will first jump to the start, but that is this code, that is just the split of the second, and at the same like millisecond he will jump to this path position stop and start moving. So he will jump to this again and start moving. So that way we will have I hope our zombie continue moving on the path. I'm losing my mind here. Let us try this finally. No, I want to zoom out here. Okay, probably half an hour, maybe longer. Okay, so let's try this if this works. And again, we're using new block. So let's try to stop him at 0.5 something, but he will speed up. Oops, left clicked, worked. Position current is 0.57. I have copy pasted that position into new variable position stop, and now when I right click, so this will work. Let me try to stop him now at some different position, like here at the start. Go with the right click, stop with the left, go with the right, so you can do it as many times as you want. Stop, go, stop, go, stop, go, left and right, left and right. So this works, and we have solved this problem. I think we have maybe made a couple of new problems, probably, because that's how things work in game development. You solve one thing, you crash another one. But so far so good. I will stop here. I will maybe just try to disable this start following path in my right pressed, just to test it with it and see now. When I right press my zombie, his position will be set to this, but he's already there. He's not going to move. I'm not sure this will work. This is much more clearer to me when I type the code instead of, yeah, he doesn't work, so he doesn't move, which again makes sense. You have to make him move, which is this: start following, start moving. But the problem with start moving is that I have only very specific commands where to go, to the beginning or not, and that's it. I need this guy here, which is the new block which we have learned, and I have used it and combined it with previous one to make this guy work. The new problems which I think we have made are actually that I think I can now right click my guy even if he is not stopped. Why? Because I have coded it that way. My right pressed code works every frame. So here I don't have condition to check, to ask GameMaker, is my zombie stopped? So I would have to add that. So far my GameMaker, he's only checking if my right mouse button is pressed on my zombie on the screen. He's not checking is he stopped or not. He doesn't care. He's checking that in left pressed, but in right pressed, no. So I think I can actually just right click this guy when he's moving, and he will go, I think, back or something like that in space. So let's try to do that. So that could be another example of what you would need to solve. So I will try now to right click him while he's moving. Yeah, and he goes back to start, which makes sense because that is what we said here. If I right click on him, go back to absolute beginning with the speed of 2 at this path, and that's it. And use this path position stop, which is create 0 value. So again, I will need to put some kind of condition here with like if variable that and that is greater than 0 maybe, or whatever. We will use that maybe in some later video, but I don't want to do it now, too tired, and this will take an hour to do it. Anyway, we have solved one problem. We have some kind of game, some kind of it's not a game, it's a mechanics, but it works. Stop and go, stop and go. Oops. And we have used all of the blocks here in GameMaker GML Visual for paths. So we have learned how to start following path, stop following, how to extract information where on the path, on which position is our object instance, what speed he is using to move. We have learned how to change that speed. Change means set, change, set it, say it's different, like something, I don't know, set speed to 5, 10 and so on. And get means give me the number which is currently used. I want information. So with the get you only get the information, and with the set you change, you set the information. So this is more like set is more for action, like we did just right now. We have set the position. The get will just get you information which we have used just to draw that information above and below our zombie. So this information in text, position, current, stop, speed, that is all taken from GameMaker brain, like his information, and you do that with get, and then you use that information with set. And I will stop here finally. Sorry for this tutorial was this long, but I think this was interesting in terms of learning new skills, combining old and so on. And again, for example, try now to open GameMaker official template towers versus monsters and see how you won't be able to understand lots of the code there, although they're using drag and drop blocks. not because what I have told you here is unusable, but it's just because they're using it in with more different stuff and more complex stuff, and when you want to make more complex full game like they did, you need to combine it with other blocks which we have learned before or we will learn in future, like conditions, loop, another variable, and so on. So I think that would be a good idea to see at least what you can recognize so far in Towers versus Monsters template from the things which we have learned here, and try to experiment with it, change it, or try to learn on your own how they combine those blocks, how they define those zombies, follow that path. Did they use start following path? How they coded those zombies in Frankenstein to react on towers shooting the bullets on them, and so on. So the speed of the zombies, how did they set and did they use get, and so on. So it's really something which you can use right now in the real world. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.